Hey YouTube, so I just unboxed the Kranzle pressure washer. If you guys saw my previous video, this is the K499TST that I just received from Kranzle USA, and I haven't hooked it up yet to my garden hose. I haven't used it yet. It is still in pieces, and before I start assembling everything together, I just wanted to give a walkthrough of what it has, what are the features, what are the various components on it, what does each and every switch does, and what are the basic parts of the pressure washer in general, so that you guys have an idea of what this pressure washer is all about, how it is different from some of the cheaper options that are on Lowe's or Home Depot or other box stores, and what is it that this brings to the table that other pressure washers do not. So let's get started. So in the box there is a spray gun, which is a very high quality plastic spray gun that has a M22 adapter to connect the spray hose from the pressure washer, and at the front it has a female M22 to connect the wand. This one also has a safety trigger, so if you engage the trigger, then the pressure washer trigger will not work. And this is just because the safety trigger is important if you are at a job site or if there are kids around and you don't want them to operate the gun, because the high pressure can actually cause a lot of damage. It's a pretty high quality gun, it's pretty heavy. I don't know if you can read it or not, but it says 3900 psi, 150 degrees centigrade, made in Germany. Pretty high quality. The unit also comes with an inline water filter that allows you to filter out any particulates from the water so that it doesn't clog up the pressure washer. This is a standard garden hose female coupler here, and this is a M22 threaded coupler on the other side. So, well, I guess it's both garden hoses. Both of them are, yeah. So this is a brass female garden hose and this is a plastic female garden hose. So the way this would work probably is that if I go around the pressure washer, this would connect to the water inlet. The pressure washer comes with a quick disconnect. So if you were to use a brass quick disconnect, or if you were to use this one, then you would add the water filter to inline to the garden hose, and it would be somewhat like this. This would screw up here. Let me just try it one more time. So this would screw up here like this, or this would go near your spigot or a faucet, and once you tighten this up, you will connect your garden hose here. This is a female thread, so the male end of the garden hose is going to go here. And what this will do is that if there's any particulates in the water, if there is any sediments or anything that you don't want inside your pressure washer, then it will filter out and it's going to collect in the stainless steel filter which is inside. This filter can easily be cleaned. If I don't know if I can open it right now, but this white plastic piece can be unscrewed and the stainless filter can be removed for easy cleanup. It's not a use and throw filter, so it can be used as many number of times as required. So once I assemble everything together, I'll hook up the filter and we'll see how it works. But other than that, let me walk you through the rest of the pressure washer to see what it has. While we are at the rear end of the pressure washer, I must point out that this piece here is the water tank. This is where the water collects from the garden hose, and the pressure washer actually pumps the water into the pump from the tank. So when this tank is full, there's a float inside that shuts off the water coming in from the garden hose. So that is important if you are using a garden hose. If you were to pull water in from a storage tank or from a well or from a, let's say, a nearby pond or something, then there is another option. It's not very clearly visible here, but there is this inlet here which you can connect to a hose and drop the hose into the tank. That way the unit pulls water from the tank. The only thing that is important in that case is this water tank will need to be removed to get access to that hose. And I believe in the user manual it says that this water tank cannot be used if you're using the hose feature. And if you're not using the hose feature, then you need to use the water tank so that you can connect a garden hose. This screw here, I can unscrew this, and it's basically a threaded bolt which allows me to get into the water tank and do any cleanups, clean the water tank out, replace parts or anything. There's also a white color float you might be able to see over there. That's what shuts the water out coming in from the garden hose when the tank is full. So it goes back in here, and that was the water tank. It has 4 wheels, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. The front wheels are slightly smaller than the back ones. And then there is a drum which has 50 feet of high pressure hose. So it's a nice feature to have on a pressure washer, because if you have a really long hose, then sometimes it gets very messy to handle that hose. And with a drum on the pressure washer itself, it's very easy to handle the hose, to just coil it up back into the drum and stow it away. So the way it works is that it has this lever, and it also has a lock here, the red color knob. So right now it's in the lock position, but if I unlock it, then I can rotate this, and once I am done releasing the amount of force I need, the required length, I can lock it back up, and then this will not rotate anymore. And this is retractable, so this goes back in so that it's out of the way. This hose is a very high quality non-marring hose. It's not gonna scratch your car or other things that might be around that you might be cleaning. It has a female M22 which connects to the spray gun. There is a on-off switch here. It's not connected, so it's not going to turn on. And then this pressure washer also has a oil-filled pump, and this is where the oil goes in. I believe after the first 50 hours, the oil needs to be changed, and then they recommend that the oil should be changed every year. A very nice feature of this pressure washer is this pressure gauge. This tells how much pressure you're getting when you're using the pressure washer. So the gauge goes from all the way from 0 to 3500 psi or 25 bars. I believe it's bars or maybe MPa. So this pressure washer is rated at 2000 psi at 1.9 GPM. So if I try to run it at the highest pressure, this needle will point to basically 2000 psi right in the middle, and I would get about 1.9 GPM depending on the nozzle I'm using. It could be less as well, because the nozzle is what kind of creates the pressure. A bigger nozzle will have more water and less pressure, and a smaller nozzle will have higher pressure and low amount of water. Then this is the pressure adjusting valve. If you rotate it, it basically reduces the amount of pressure, and if you screw it all the way in, then it forces the pressure washer to output the maximum amount of pressure it can handle. So all the way in, at this point, the pressure washer is going to output 2000 psi, and if I start reducing it, then depending on how much pressure you want, you can keep rotating it and until you get the desired amount of pressure in the gauge. That will tell you that you have reduced the amount of pressure that the pressure washer is going to output, and you can use that amount of pressure to wash whatever you are washing. So for example, if you're washing a concrete floor or a driveway, you would want the maximum amount of pressure, so you would do it all the way in. But if you were washing let's say a wooden fence or a car or a motorcycle or something like that you don't want to damage with very high pressure, you can reduce the pressure by unscrewing this unloader valve. So what I typically do is I keep the unloader valve on my pressure washer at the highest position, which means I try to let the pressure washer run at the highest pressure, and I use a different size nozzle to reduce or increase the amount of pressure that I need for my washing requirements. This clear vinyl tube is for detergent. So if you were to use a detergent bottle, you could take this vinyl tube and you could drop it into a bottle with detergent, and the pressure washer will suck the detergent out of the tube and it will output it through the orifice of the nozzle. This is a brass pump. All brass, looks pretty solid. There's also a relief valve here. So if, let's say, the pressure washer is running and there's no water coming in, or if, let's say, you release the trigger and the pressure washer does not come to a stop for 30 seconds. It has a 30-second auto shut off, by the way. So when you release the trigger on the spray gun, the pressure washer actually stops after 30 seconds. And when you squeeze the trigger again, the pressure washer starts up. So this relief valve basically avoids excess pressure buildup and excess heat buildup inside the pump and ensures longevity. In addition to these things, there are two lances that came with the pressure washer. One of them is this dirt killer lance. This is a pretty hefty stainless steel lance. It has a dirt blaster nozzle. It's a rotating nozzle that allows to blast off dirt from hard surfaces. Almost like a 0-degree nozzle, made by Kranzle, 220 bar, 70 degrees centigrade. Oh, by the way, I probably forgot to mention, but this pressure washer can take up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit water, which is not super hot, but hot enough to wash most of the things around the house, even like a car in cold weather months. The other side of the pressure of the wand is a brass female, not a female, but a male brass connector. This connects to the front of the lance, of the spray gun. So I haven't connected it yet, but this basically would screw in like this, and that would become like your entire gun, like this. So what I'm planning to do is I'll make these connections using quick connects, because I don't want to be unscrewing things all the time. I would use quick connects everywhere so that I can just unhook things that I don't need and hook them back in a snap. And I would also use Teflon tape everywhere on all the threads to prevent leaking. So that would be a video that I would do next when I start assembling the machine. I have to order some quick disconnects, which I don't have right now. So once they arrive, I'll start assembling the machine, and I'll make another video to show you guys how it needs to be done. Well, not how it needs to be done, but it's something that I would recommend. Not necessarily a requirement, but it's nice to do. Nice to do it that way. And the second wand that comes with the pressure washer is another stainless wand. It has the same brass fitting on one end, and then on the other end it has I believe this is a nozzle. It doesn't really say what size nozzle is it, and it has a plastic cap around it for protection. So I guess if I have to use let's see, if I have to use like a 40-degree orifice nozzle or like a 15-degree nozzle, I will have to either remove this piece, or I'll have to get a different wand that allows me to have a threaded or a quick connect adapter at one end so that I can use my spray nozzles. This pressure washer does not come with any quick connect disconnect spray nozzles like most of the cheaper pressure washers do. It only comes with these two wands, one of them with the dirt killer nozzle, and the other wand with this particular fan nozzle. So I'll have to figure that out, how this thing is going to work if I have to use a nozzle of my own. And this snaps back into place for easy storage. Looks pretty sturdy. Then on the other side there is a 50 feet long power cord with a built-in GFI, and this particular model has a 20 amp plug. This is a 110 volt 20 amp power cord, so this is not going to connect to a regular household 15 ampere circuit. So make sure when you are buying this you have a 20 ampere 110 volt circuit available. If you have a 20 ampere circuit, make sure it is dedicated for this pressure washer. It is not being used with other stuff around the house like a refrigerator or TV or lights or stuff, because this pressure washer will take almost all of that 20 amps, and if you have other stuff connected, then this can cause your circuit breaker to trip, and you don't want that to happen. So I suggest that you check the amperage of your circuit, make sure it is 20 amps, and if you have any doubts about it, get an electrician to check your circuit, make sure it is good for 110 volts 20 amps, otherwise you will not be able to run this properly. So it's easy to wind up the cord. It has these it has this hook on this side at the top, and there's another hook here at the bottom, so it's easy to wind the cord around it. And I mean, overall it feels a very solid machine. Of course, I have not used it yet, so I can't comment on the performance, but I'm expecting it to be stellar. It's a well-built, well-regarded German machine, so I'm assuming it's going to live up to its name. I haven't really dragged it out of the garage yet because there's plenty of snow outside. But when I move this, or when I try to push it on its wheels, it feels to, roll pretty easy. It does feel heavy, but it's not hard to roll it on its wheels. Let me get some close-up shots of the pump here. It's all brass, very high quality. All right, so that was it from today. I will make another video soon once I have all the quick disconnects with me. I'll show you guys how to assemble them, how to put this machine back into working, how to assemble it together, and then we will try to wash something with it and see how it behaves. All right.